Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to RWBY Volume 8, Chapter 5. So, yeah, last time we left off, a bit happened. Yang, Ren, and Jean failed to rescue Oscar, and Ren kind of took his emotions out on them, just kind of being pissy and grumpy and emo. Um, and we knew this was coming. We knew it was coming since last volume, but it's like maybe we're finally just going to get to it and get it out of the way. But there was also hints of an attack happening, which I was guessing is the Grimm that won the contest that Rooster Teeth held from the fan created Grimm. I don't know for sure. We'll have to see. Meanwhile, Oscar was successfully taken to Salem by the Hound and tortured by Salem and afterwards Hazel. So that's fun. But on top of that, Salem met with Cinder. Well, Cinder was waiting, but and Cinder wants to continue to try and go out to get the main powers and shit. But Salem's just like, no, you're gonna wait here. You're gonna listen to me. You're gonna wait here. And Cinder's like, nah, I think I'm gonna go anyway. So, I mean, she doesn't tell Salem that, but she chooses to go anyway. Neo seems to be against the idea, but Emerald is all for it because Emerald just wants approval from Cinder. Let's be honest. She just wants Senpai to notice her. So they're going to be heading out, which is not great. And Ruby's part of the team has gone to the Schnee Mansion while Nora recovers. After they escaped from the facility, Penny has gone up to the oh my god, Amity, there has gone up to Amity to be with Maria and Pietro up there, but the Aesop's got one of her blades, which at this point is kind of, especially with what Watts had said, is kind of hinting at that she's going to possibly be taken over, which really sucks ass. I still don't think she's going to die, but she's more than likely going to be taken over, and it's not going to be good, like, at all. Ironwood just continues to prove how out of touch and shitty he's being and how he's not really being any better than Salem, but we'll see how that storyline goes as well. And we see as well that Harriet is starting to question things, that she's even starting to see that things aren't quite as simple as she assumed. And she almost agrees to trust in Robin enough to open up her cell and let her prove the truth with her semblance. But Marrow stops her. So yeah. But things are progressing on that front. So we'll see how that goes as well. We haven't really seen Winter at all since the first episode, so don't know exactly how her recovery's going. But there's a lot of separate, like, story beats playing at this moment, so we'll just kind of have to see where everything goes. We're going to start, obviously, we're going to continue playing them bit by bit, and eventually they're going to converge, because that's how it goes. So we'll see how it happens. But yeah, I'm just excited to get to this. So we're going to not hold off anymore and get to this reaction. But just as a reminder, one last thing. After episode 7, RWBY Volume 8 is taking a 7-week hiatus. It will be returning at the beginning of February, and the reason for this is just because of everything that happened this year with COVID and everything, and just how they had to change the way that they're working on the show. Rooster Teeth has decided that it's best to try to balance out their lives a little better, and are just taking these 7 weeks to just kind of help do so. So yeah, once episode 7 airs, after that we'll be going to the final season of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, and then returning to RWBY once it actually comes back. But anyways, let's get this going. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, basically everything's going to shit. I mean, they managed to get their message out, which reached a lot of people, a lot of familiar faces, but there's still a lot of issues happening. Penny was successfully hacked and apparently rebooted, which wasn't Ironwood's plan, but it's what Watts wanted. And Watts also took something to his cell, which is also very bad. Salem is apparently sending a river of Grimm to the city, which is all kinds of, like, horrifying. Cinder attacked Penny and them, which, like, we knew that's what they were going to do and everything, and failed, luckily. And hopefully Cinder gets chewed out and probably even worse by Salem. Because it's like, just at this point, just end it with her. Just end her story. Like, the first episode kind of hinted that we were going to, like, learn more about her, which, like, let's do that this season. Let's learn her backstory and then take her out. Let's just end it. She doesn't have a point anymore. She really doesn't. So just get rid of her. Like, have her die and have, like, somehow, like, the powers would transfer to, like, Emerald, maybe. Like, I could be okay with that. That would work. But yeah. Shit's going down, and it's not going good. Winter and the Aesops are now headed out there. Nora's still out of commission. This volume is definitely the darkest moment in RWBY's history. Like, honestly, even more so than the second part of the second half of Volume 3. Volume 3 was very dark and just suddenly a major tone shift. But this is honestly much worse, to a much higher degree. And it's not okay. Things are not okay, and they're not going to be okay for a while. Yeah, of course, I truly believe the heroes will win. Of course. But things are going to get worse before they get better. As the saying goes, the night is darkest before the dawn. And dawn is still a long ways away. The darkness is definitely coming. And it's not looking good in any way, shape, or form. So no matter what, things are going to go even more wrong. But the fact that they managed to get their message out there means that we're going to have some backup, at least in the future. Maybe not in this volume, but in the future. Like, we saw a bunch of different people we know getting the message. We saw Glinda for the first time since Volume 3. We saw Glinda. We saw Ty. We saw Ilya. Gira was calling Ilya, so we know he got it too. We saw Sun and Neptune. Everyone's getting this message. So everyone's going to eventually come together, and we're going to have a true war, and it's going to be glorious. But there's still a lot we still do not know. There's a lot we still just have not caught up on yet. We still don't know who the Summer Maiden is. Like, we know spring, we know winter, or we know fall and winter. Well, no, we know spring as well. What am I talking about? We know spring, fall, and winter. Spring is Raven. So we know spring, fall, and winter. We just do not know who the summer maiden is yet. We got to figure that out. There's also an entirely other kingdom we have not been to yet. So there's still quite a bit going for this series. That's undeniable. Volume 9 is already being worked on. Volume 10 is confirmed. So yeah, it's like we've still got plenty to go. But we're definitely getting into the heaviest part of this series, and it's going to be bad. And honestly, like I have said before, we're going to see deaths. I still think Ironwood's going to die. I think Cinder probably is at this point based on what we're getting. And hopefully, honestly. And as horrible as it sounds, I think Ren might. With what's going on with Ren, I think it's a possibility. Again, I don't think Penny will, because they've already done that once. They're not going to do that again. With how much of a fan favorite she is, they're not going to do it again. If they did, it would honestly be a mistake from a narrative and just writing standpoint to do that again. Plus, it would be very just unnecessarily mean-spirited to the fans at this point. Like, that's not going to happen. There's going to be some trouble. She's actually not being taken over, which is what I thought was going to happen. She was kind of just rebooted, which is allowing them to capture her, which will allow them to probably reboot, like completely reset her and take her over again. Or not really take her over per se. That's the wrong way to put it. More like influence her. But yeah, shit's like really going down, and it's not going to end what I would say well at all. We'll have to see how it goes, though. So this was episode 5. We got 2 more episodes before the hiatus hits, and again, if this series has taught me anything, it's that we're going to end off on a mid-season cliffhanger that's going to really kick us in the nads, for those of us who have nads. But seriously, it's going to really hit hard, and it's going to be bad. It's not going to be a pleasant cliffhanger at all. But it's the right decision on Rooster Teeth's part nonetheless. So it's gonna be necessary, and it's gonna lead to a better product in the end. So yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. I did, but it's definitely a harbinger of the darkness that we're about to get to in this volume. Like, honestly, these first 5 chapters have been nothing. I am fully prepared by the end of this volume to honestly break down. I am fully prepared to break down. I am fully prepared to be left horrified at what's going to happen. And we're already getting there. But we're still nowhere near where it's going to go. I fully stand by that. But tell me your thoughts on this episode of RWBY down in the comments below, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.